Imagine living 70, 80, 90 years of quality health. What's the key word? Quality. Imagine living that type of life, not dependent on drugs, medications, or surgeries. Imagine experiencing predictable health, meaning that you know exactly where your health will be 10, 20, 30 years from now. Retiring, playing with your grandkids, running on the beach with your spouse, doing all the things you love and you were called to do. And you're saving hundreds of thousands of dollars of sick medical debt and bankruptcy. But here's the questions. Do you think it is possible to live a life like that? Do you believe you are capable of living that type of life? And most importantly, do you believe you are worthy? Deep down, are you worthy of living the best possible life that you've been created to live out the desires and dreams of your heart? I'm Dr. Chris Zano. And in this talk today, you're going to realize that when your body is functioning the way it can and the way it was created to, it is possible to live that type of life. When your body is functioning and healing the way it was created to, you are absolutely capable of living that type of life. And by the end of this talk, our time together, you're going to realize that you absolutely are worthy of living the best possible life you can, healthy and strong, full of vitality. We're going to be going over 4 main questions today, 4. And these are the 4 questions that all of us will have to ask sometime in our life of ourselves. And how we answer these 4 questions will determine how we live our life and the health of our life from this point forward. And these are the 4 questions I had to ask myself in probably the most darkest, scariest, stressful time of my entire life. We'll go over a couple things today, such as, what are the top 3 killers in the United States today and how we could avoid those by 98%. We're going to go over why people are struggling with their health, why people are struggling to get off medications or avoid surgeries, why people are struggling with their weight and losing weight. I'm going to show you how to turn that struggle into results very fast. We're going to show you how to live a life as we age, we could get off or reduce or eliminate drugs and medications that are just masking the symptoms. And I'm going to show you how to save hundreds of thousands of dollars that otherwise would have been spent on sick, suffering medical care due to bankruptcy. But I have a question for you. Who makes the best results? Is it the person who actually hears about going to the gym or the person who actually goes to the gym? It's the person that goes to the gym, right? Well, the same thing applies here. Participation is transformation. So I want you to really understand what we're learning here. Why? So you could absorb it and you could apply it to your life, because this will totally change and save your life from this point forward. This is just not knowledge. This is wisdom applied to the most important asset you have, which is your health. And so I want you to be able to apply that as well. Now, before we get into what's going on, before I get into the main body of what we're going to talk about, I want to explain to you why I'm on this video, why I'm here, and how it's going to affect and change your life. In 1998, I won Mr. America. So I looked a certain way, I felt a certain way. I wrote articles for magazines, I was on the cover of the magazines. And so I looked good, I felt good. And at 26, I married my wife, Whitney, at 26 years of age. And 6 months into our marriage, all of a sudden, I started going to the bathroom a lot. I thought I had like a digestive bug, and it never stopped. It got worse and worse, and I'm not saying anything. Then I'm starting to bleed every time I go to the bathroom. I'm not saying anything. Then one day I was in a department store, and because you gotta go to the bathroom all the time, so I went to the back of the department store to find the bathroom. And it was closed. They were all closed. And I said, well, where's the bathroom? And they said, well, you gotta go all the way to the front of the building, and outside there's portables, and that's where the restrooms are at. I was trying to make it to the front, but what started happening, I couldn't hold it in anymore, and right there in front of everybody, a crowded department store, I lost all my bowels. It was blood, it was mucus, just all over my pants, right there in front of everybody. And that was probably the most stressful, shameful time I ever had in my life. And then I had to go outside that building. I ran outside to the loading dock and I called my wife on the phone. And I'm like, listen, this is what happened. And so my wife comes, she picks me up. We had a little Ford Escort with towels all over the front seat. And that was the day I had to tell my wife what has been going on to me, but I haven't told her at this point. I had to tell her that, listen, I've been going to the bathroom 10, 15, 18 times a day, bleeding every time I'm going to the bathroom. She's like, why didn't you tell me? You know why? I didn't tell her because I thought maybe it'll get better. But I got scared. I didn't know what to do when it wasn't. So we went to the doctor and they diagnosed me with an incurable disease called ulcerative colitis. that's an autoimmune disease where my immune system was actually attacking and eating my colon. They said you'll have it forever, you're gonna need surgery, your chances of cancer, colon cancer goes up 80%, and you'll be on drugs the rest of your life. So immediately they put me on a high dose level of prednisone, which is a pure stress hormone to lower the immune system. Why? So the autoimmune disease wouldn't fight itself, but it wasn't getting to the cause. Then I was on a drug called Asacol. It was $360 per month. I had to take 12 of those a day. It damaged my liver so much, it was giving me the symptomatology of a medically induced hepatitis C. I was on all these other medications, they're not working. I was then sent to Dallas, Texas. So I go to Dallas, Texas, and I have 4 of the top leading digestive disorder doctors in the country, the top in the world, award winning. So I have a little bit of hope. And so they took me off the prednisone, they put me on a low dose chemotherapy, they put me on interferon shots because I was of the medically induced hepatitis, Remicade infusions for autoimmune disease, organ rejection medications that were $75 a pill, and I continued to get worse and worse and worse. In 4.5 months, my wife saw me go from 230 pounds all the way down to 158 pounds. And there was nothing else they could do. The only option I was left with was to remove my whole entire large intestine. I would have a colostomy bag that they said would break, it would leak, it would be infected because there's this open hole there. I'd still be on medications the rest of my life. My chances of colon cancer are still 80% or higher, and I would be sterile. My wife and I would never ever be able to have children. And they're gonna do it in 2 weeks. They say, get your stuff in order. So I'm flying home to see my mom. Now my mom has already buried 2 sons. So she's hysterical. This is her 3rd son that's going through sickness and disease and almost death. And my mom, on the way home when I'm flying to see my mom, this is when I answered the very first question that we have to answer to all ourselves in one time or another. And that first question, and write this down if you have a pen and pad, is this. What is your most important asset? What is it? It's your health, right? And how many of us have to lose their health like I did? Or someone close to you dies and you say, you know what? I'm blessed, thank God for my health. So let's not wait till that point. But in that moment, I realized, well, what is my most important asset? It's my health, and it's your health as well. Immediately, here's the second question. Write this down. What is health? What is health? Because my idea of health was what? How I looked, because I looked good. How I felt good. I ate right. I clearly exercised. I wasn't on the drive-through lines of McDonald's or Burger King or Sonic getting breakfast every morning, and those people are, but they're fine. So I'm like, well, what is health? Because I'm doing everything, I thought I was doing everything that was right. But I believe my health was what many or millions of Americans have been taught that their health was. And what is it? Most people think their health is what? If they look good or if they feel good. Now the problem with basing our health on how we look or how we feel is that everybody's healthy then until what? Until you look bad or feel bad. But the problem is when it comes to your greatest asset, which is health, is that something you want to be proactive with or reactive with? I want to be proactive with it. But waiting till you look bad or feel bad is a very reactionary way of taking care of your health. And unfortunately for us and all humans, the biggest disease killers are the ones you do not feel. So the top 3 killers that kill the most amount of people in the country, or if not the world, that had already affected you or your family members are the things you don't feel. For instance, if you want, raise your hand and do it with me. If you know someone in your life or someone close to you or personally has been plagued with heart disease, heart attacks, blood pressure, cholesterol, we'll even throw a little bit of diabetes in there. Raise your hand. Yeah. Okay, how about cancer? Raise your hand if you know someone who had cancer that was close to you, or a personal family member, or even yourself, cancer, right? Now these people did not feel it. 5 to 6 Americans, 5 or 6 people are getting heart disease or cancer. These 2 disease killers are so deadly not because they happen overnight. In fact, these 2 disease killers take the longest to kill you, but you know what the problem is? You don't feel them. Everybody's known someone where you get the call that someone died and you're like, what do you mean they died? They were fine the other day. They had a heart attack, never saw it coming. They were diagnosed, you would hear, of cancer. Never saw it coming. No, you don't see it and you don't feel it coming, but it was there for decades. And now, so what happens? So what happens now? The number one, according to a study called Death by Medicine, now the number one cause of death and disease is what happens when you don't feel good. So with 5 or 6 people getting a heart disease or cancer, or more people dying of things that they feel or don't feel, but we're living a life where we're educated based our health on how we look or feel. So automatically, look what I'm showing you now. If health is your greatest asset, and we're based on how we look, how we feel, do you understand that there's an incongruency? This is not compatible. So you want to make sure you're on the right road to your greatest asset of your life. So what happens when you have a symptom? When we do look bad or feel bad, what do we do? So it gets to the point where you start to have symptoms. You have headaches, you have hormone issues, you have immune system problems, autoimmune disease, thyroid issues, heart issues, blood pressure, cholesterol, stomach, digestive, pain, numbness, whatever the symptom is. You start to have these issues start to occur in your life. And they get to a point where you don't want to be like this anymore. You're like, I'm sick of this. It's affecting my life emotionally, physically. I can't work. I can't relate to my spouse anymore. I can't play with my kids. It's affecting my mood. I feel my productivity going down. And you say, I don't want to be like this anymore. And so then you go to the doctor. And when you go to the doctor, they're going to give you 2 things. What are they? A drug to mask it, or a surgery because it's so far gone. So what is those symptoms? A symptom is something that we still honor, but it's not something that we mask. A symptom in your body is your emergency broadcast system. It is a fire alarm going off in your body. So any symptom that your body has is a sign that an organ, cell, or tissue of your body is functioning poorly. So and it's not the beginning of functioning poorly. Usually you may feel symptoms at the end stage of the disease process. So when this body starts to send symptoms back to the brain they're saying, help me, help me, help me, just like a fire alarm going off. So if a fire alarm is going off in your home, does the fire alarm tell you where the fire is? No. When the firefighters come, do they go after and do they axe down the fire alarm? No. Would you go and would you take the batteries out of your fire alarm? No. Why? It's almost ridiculous talking about it, because if you take the batteries of the fire alarm, what happens to the fire? It continues to get what? Worse and worse, and eventually it burns down your house. How about your car? When your check engine light goes on, do you go to the mechanic and say, I want you to take the bulb out of that light that's saying check engine? Or do you tell the mechanic what? Fix the problem, right? That's what symptoms are. They're fire alarms going off. So now the problem is this. If here's the root cause of your problem, the root cause of the disease process, okay? And now you mask that with the medication, or you cover the fire alarm, is your problem still there? Absolutely. So you always see it. One drug leads to another drug, and then to surgeries. And eventually, like I said, if the fire or the disease, the cause of the disease is never put out, or the fire is never put out, what happens to the building? It burns down. But if the root cause of disease in your body that's causing disease and cells to suffer and organs to shut down and function poorly, if that problem is never found and corrected, and it continues every second of every minute of every day, what will eventually happen to your body? It will die. And so the number one cause of death in a study called Death by Medicine by PhDs and MDs is 999,936 people died from medical care and prescription drug complications. And that's right out of the study. You can look it up, Death by Medicine, it's right there. And so how does it make you feel? How many of you are watching this right now and in the last 90 days you've taken a medication for something to cover some symptom? Even an over-the-counter medication or an aspirin. How many of you in the last 90 days have covered a symptom or taken a medication? How many of your spouses have? How many of your children have? But how does it make you feel right now, knowing that if health is your greatest asset, the number one thing you love in your life, right? Here it is. And the thing that you're doing or you've been told to do for your health, masking it, is the absolute, statistically, worst thing you could possibly do for your health, right? It doesn't make sense. But you know what? You were never told of a bigger and better way. You were never told on how the body is created, heal, function, operate. I mean, think right now when it comes to your health. Think of a goal you want to do 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Amazing goal. You know, think about that right now. Those goals that you have 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, even 30 years down the road, would it be fair to say that you would have to carve out some extra time to achieve those goals? Yes. Would it be fair to say that you may need some extra money to achieve those goals? Yes. But what is the number one absolute thing that you must need in order to achieve the goals and the dreams of your life? You need your health. Here it is. And now you realize that health is not how you look, it's not how you feel, it's not covering it. But what is it now? So this is what health is, right? So health's our greatest asset. Question number one. Number two, what is it? Well, if you look in the dictionary, especially the World Health Organization definition, it says health is this. It is the optimal functioning of your body. What's the key word? Function. Of your body, mentally, physically, socially, and spiritually. And it's not merely the absence of a sickness or disease. So you see, health wasn't how we looked. It wasn't how we felt. It was how we're functioning. So write this down. If you are writing it down, health equals sign 100% function. Health equals sign 100% function. That's what health is. Now, food is important, yes. Fitness is important, yes. But we got to make sure that every single organ, cell, and tissue in your body is functioning at 100% with no interference. So here's the third question. Health's our greatest asset. What is health? 100% function. Third question is this. Write this down. What controls function? What is it in you that controls all function, every organ, cell, and tissue of your body? What controls it all? Your brain. Absolutely. Your brain. It controls everything. So now when you look here, we'll have a little picture right here. Your brain controls every organ, cell, and tissue in your body. All life, all health, all healing resides in that brain, right? And life flows from that brain right through your spinal cord, like a river, out these nerve roots to every organ, cell, and tissue in your body. So what's happening? Your heart's beating right now. Your lungs are breathing. You're digesting food that you had for lunch or about to eat. All these things are happening, and you're not even thinking about it. So can we all come to the conclusion that there's an innate wisdom in our brain? There's a power, there's a source of life in our brain that controls everything. And I'll prove it to you. It's not educational. Well, what do you mean by that? When you were born, would you have any education or any book smarts? No. But what made your heart beat? What made your lungs breathe? What allowed you to know to nurse? What allowed you to go to the bathroom? What allowed your skin to grow and your hair to grow and your body to develop? And when you went to sleep, what's keeping you alive? It's the inborn, innate wisdom of your body. And so through our entire life, we learn things educationally from school and experiences. But what's even more intelligent than our educated mind of reading a book is the power in your body that not only keeps you alive from conception to death, it's the one that when you cut your finger, heals your finger in perfection. That's the power that's going to allow your body to heal. It is the only power and intelligence that could possibly ever make and allow your body to get well, because it knows is exactly what it needs to be done to keep you well. So life flows from that brain to all the tissues. So life has to flow from your brain to all your organ cells and tissues at 100%, right? That's function, that's health, with no interference. Right here. If someone cuts your head off, or let's say here's your heart, and someone sliced the nerve into the heart, what would happen? You would die, right? So is that a belief or is that a fact? That's a fact. Is it a theory or a law? That is a law, okay? So a theory comes and go. A law is 100%. The great thing about a law and how we function, heal, and operate is laws cannot violate themselves. They're all the time. They're absolutes. But let's say we scale that back. So if this is your heart and that nerve root's going to your heart, and that nerve root gets irritated, okay? Or there's pressure on that nerve root going to that heart. So life is now from the brain is being blocked. It's interfered. Life and potential and healing is being interfered to that organ. And there's a dam in the river here. The absence of life to a tissue is what? Death. So when there's interference between the messages from the brain to an organ, cell, or tissue, is that organ, cell, or tissue getting healthier or sicker? It's getting sicker. And so what is sickness? It is this. We all know that health is what? It's 100% function of your body. That is health. So when an organ, cell, or tissue functions poorly, that is what we call a disease process or dysfunction. So the term disease is a very broad generic term, right? So heart disease, this disease, but it's broad. It doesn't tell you anything. So whatever we name your symptom, it doesn't tell you the cause. I use this analogy. Let's say the pancreas is not functioning correctly. The pancreas is not releasing insulin effectively. Your blood sugar goes up accordingly. And so you bring all these symptomatology again and we name it diabetes. whatever the name is, it didn't tell me how come the pancreas is all of a sudden not functioning correctly, and it has been for the last 10 or 15 years. And so the most important area we have to look to is your spine. Why? Your spine protects many areas of the body and the nervous system. It's there to protect that nervous system. It's the armor of that. And your spine protects three main areas, okay? Now I want you to take your pinky, everybody take your pinky. I want you to put your pinky right here below your skull and push on it, push on it. You're touching the most important aspect and the most important part of the entire nervous system of the spine. And that first bone, base of your neck, protects your brainstem. See, you want all your organs to function optimally, right? Correct, at 100%. But the thing is, all your organs have to coordinate and know what every other organ is doing. For instance, if I gave every single one of you an instrument to play, and you played your own music, what would it sound like together? Chaotic, it would be noise. But if you brought a conductor in and everybody was on a harmony, it was in a beautiful balance, it is now called a symphony. And so your brainstem is like the conductor of the entire body. So your brainstem is controlling such things as, I will just name a couple of them, such as hormone release. All of your hormones. Check this out. If we tweaked off your hormones a little bit, or your glands were thrown off and hormones were released at the wrong times, would it affect your mood? Yes. Would it affect your physiology and emotions and how you think and live and perceive life? 100%. It controls your immune system intelligence. What do I mean by that? For those of you who have allergies, why are you allergic to a cat or certain foods or dust in the air when someone's not? You know, why does someone like I had an autoimmune disease? Why was my body attacking myself and yours may or may not be? It controls all your heart rate, your respiration rate, your body temperature, your blood pressure, your sugar levels, your cholesterol levels. When you eat a piece of food, every time you bite that food, 20 or so organs digest every single part of food. It breaks down that food to its basic atomic structure. Then your brain, your nervous system determines what it's going to do with that piece of food you ate. So if you had a piece of chicken, it's going to determine, I need that chicken to be new lung tissue tomorrow, to be new heart tissue tomorrow. I need some extra, immune system peptides to heal something on the finger. So it's all these things happen and we're not even thinking about this. It's all controlled here. Why is this so important? Let's talk about someone most of us know, and that is Christopher Reeve. When Christopher Reeve fell off a horse, he used to play Superman, he fell off the horse, he hit that ground, and he did 1 centimeter worth of damage, the width of your pinky, a bruise right into the spinal cord, right into that brainstem area there. It created a dam in the river. So if there's a dam in the river here, how can life from your brain get to the rest of your body? It can't. What happened to Christopher Reeve? He was paralyzed. He had a pacemaker. He had a respirator to breathe. People massaged his colon to go to the bathroom every single day into a bag because life here was choked down. He was paralyzed. He couldn't use anything from here down. Now, was it because Christopher Reeve fell on his stomach? No. Did Christopher Reeve fall on his heart? No. He damaged here, his brainstem area where the spinal cord begins. So that's why that is the most important area, number one. Number two, your spine protects your spinal cord that runs through your spine. Number three, outside of your spine, out of that spine comes these nerve roots, and those nerve roots will divide and bring life and intelligence from your brain to every single organ, cell, and tissue in your body. And every one of the cells of your body are going to receive a mental impulse. It's not just electricity. Your brain's not like a socket where you plug an organ into an electrical socket. Your brain sends mental impulses. That means that every cell in your body is going to get an intelligent impulse from the brain saying, this is exactly what I need you to do right now, right here, right this millisecond. And those cells will send messages back to the brain saying, this is exactly the state we're in right now. It's this amazing harmony that no man, no machine, no book could ever duplicate or control, except you. So now when we look at the spine, so let's say your spine was like this. So I'll get this spine right here. So if you're looking at your spine right here, I'll do it this way right here. So let's say your spine needs to be straight up and down, because your spine has to be straight up and down from front to back. From the side view, you need to have three nice beautiful curvatures in it, especially the one in the neck. So let's say your spine needs to be straight up and down like this, okay? And you take a picture and your spine's like this. Is that healthy or sick? That's sick. Why? Because what's happening? Those nerves right there are being choked off. So these organs they're going to, are they getting healthier or sicker? They're getting sicker. Now your spine can be misaligned, but when your spine is misaligned and there is a nerve component, the term we use for that is this. It's called a subluxation. Say that with me, subluxation. Sub meaning less than, lux, L-U-X means light or even divine life or light. It's like a dimmer switch to that organ, cell, or tissue. Now a subluxation here, this starts the disease process. So this subluxation is worse than heart disease, it's worse than cancer, it's worse than Alzheimer's, it's worse than diabetes, or any disease you have. Why? Because all of those things, all of those diagnoses are days, months, or years of it that started from a disease process, and this starts the disease process. You do not have to get hit by a truck to see this going on. How's this happen? Well, it could be birth process. It could be, who learned how to walk? Okay, we all did. Who learned how to fall when you walked? We all did. You know, then there's big trauma, there's sports, there's activities, there's car accidents, there's slips and falls that we even forgot about. There's micro trauma of mom carrying a child on her hip or dad at the computer. Show me the posture of someone texting. Show me the posture of someone playing video games, kids with heavy backpacks. When this starts to happen, the biggest reason why it's there is because you never knew to look for it. It's been one of the biggest and most dangerous blind spots in your life that no one took the time to tell you about, because all you've been told to do is mask something with a drug or medication. From the side view, remember I said now from the side, we want to have 3 beautiful arcs in your spine, especially the one in the neck here. And the reason why we do this is, remember we talked about the neck. If you lose the curve of the neck like that, or if you have head forward posture like this, what starts to happen, it puts pressure on your brainstem. Just think Christopher Reeve. It stretches and damages your spinal cord, and all the nerve roots here that are going to your immune system, your heart, your lungs, your thyroid, get diseased or subluxated to start shutting down life to those areas. And studies show that just this alone, right here, just this, could take up to 14 years away from your life. So if this is going on in your body right now, are you really healthy or are you sick? You're sick. Do you necessarily feel this or feel this? No. Because right now, if your traps are hurting you or your neck hurts you, that's a motivator. But tell me, what does, if the nerve going to the heart is shutting down, what's the heart feel like shutting down? No one's ever felt that. That's why people get heart attacks and they were doing fine and they drop dead. What's that nerve going to the immune system? What's the immune system feel like shutting down? What's cancer feel like growing? We don't know that. What's that nerve going to the thyroid feel like shutting down? We don't know. You might be fatigued and be tired, but you don't feel that. And so what you never want to do ever, is when it comes to a problem in your life, especially with your health, you never ever want to treat them or mask them. Okay, so let's say this is the problem. You lost that curve of the neck. 14 years are coming off your life. But the problem is this. So here is the problem. So let's say the worst thing we could possibly do with this is treat it. Whether it be this problem, your health problem, any problem in the world, if you treat or mask, nothing happens. For instance, if this is the problem, here's the root cause, and you ice it, you heat it, you rub it, you stretch it, you take a Vicodin pill, certain foods, or you take a steroid shot, is that problem still there? Yeah, absolutely. But now let's say if this is the problem right here and you correct that problem, okay, like braces correcting teeth, let's say you correct it a couple degrees or 20%. Or if this is your problem here, like that, and you're able to correct those subluxations, a few degrees, removing interference from the nervous system, allowing life from the brain to now be able to flow through as the interference is removed to those organ cells and tissues. Is your body going to get sicker or is it going to get healthier? It's going to get healthier. Now, are you healthier because you are feeling better or the symptom went away? Or are you healthier because what the definition of health is, it is what? You are now functioning better. And when you're functioning better, those cells will replicate healthier and healthier, and your bodies and those issues will resolve on their own. But it's not about do you feel it or not, it's am I functioning correctly? It's all health is functioning of the body. So whether you lost the bone of the neck or any subluxations like this, the goal is we have to determine where are these subluxations, find these subluxations that are the only thing that's interfering with life from the brain to those organ cells and tissues, causing diseases you know about or diseases you don't know about, be able to find them, correct them, so your body can truly be well and get well and stay well without masking them with dangerous drugs or medications. So now I go home. I'm flying home, I'm seeing my mom. And I fly home, and my mom sent out an email to everybody, and people passed on. Those emails, help my son. My anatomy teacher from 10th grade gets this email, gets out of his chair, finds my mom. He's like, listen, I need you to see your son. I need to meet him. And she's like, sure. So I fly home, I'm wearing the mask and all, and there's Coach Ferraccio. I'm like, what are you doing here? He's like, I need you to go see my doctor. He's a corrective care chiropractor. It's gonna change your life. And I'm like, well, I just came back from the top 4 medical doctors in the world. Yes, the best of the best. They've done over $200,000 worth of testing on me and all these drugs. And if they say that I need surgery, I need surgery. And I've been to a chiropractor before. When I played sports, they stretched out my hamstrings, or I didn't see how this muscle modality could ever help an autoimmune disease. How is that possible? And my coach was, Coach Ferraccio, he's like, listen, he's like, that's exactly it. He's like, you've done everything the medical doctors told you to do. You've been all the drugs. You're worse now than you were then. He's like, your body could heal and get well, and you could get off these drugs and medications, but once you do the surgery, you're committed. You're on the roller coaster. And he goes, I know you may have tried chiropractic with this person and that person, but you don't understand what it is. You never understood the principle. There's different doctors that do different things. Why don't you learn how your body was truly created to heal and function, operate, and then you can do what you need to do. He's like, listen, I'm here because I know that's something that saved his life. He's like, I know something that's going to change your life, and I just want to know this. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to get well? And frustratingly, I'm like, yeah. I go, but I thought I had been this whole entire time. And so he took me over to see this guy, Dr. Roger Romano, and he took pictures of my spine that no one ever did. But then he set me down like no one ever did and taught me how my body was created to heal and function and operate, how the brain controls everything, which it does. I was in top level college classes. It was right, yeah, it made all the sense in the world. And something in me got excited because it helped me answer the why I was going through this. And number one, it was very logical. Did this make sense? What we went over? Yes. Was it logical? Yes. Was it simple? Yes. Could you use deductive reasoning? If I cut the nerve root to the hand goes away. It dies, right? So it's deductive reasoning. And then when I went back to see my pictures, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I never felt any back pain, but when I looked at my pictures, my lower spine was trashed. If your spine needs to be straight up and down, I had a 20-degree curvature on my lower spine that I never felt. And in that lower spine, where do you think those nerve roots go to? They go right to your colon. So that was the cause of my problem. So for some of you watching, you could have a 20-degree curvature or a 10-degree curvature. So anything over 20 doesn't beat 10. 10 degrees isn't worse than 5 or 3 or 2 or 1. Like I ask anybody, if it was your child, if it was you, when is it okay that an organ, cell, or tissue of your body has 1 degree, 2 degrees of pressure choking off life to those areas? How long is that okay with you? It's never. So that was starting the disease process. But watch this. Symptomatology-wise, I never felt back pain. For someone else, you could have the same problem and you're constipated for 2 weeks. I'm going to the bathroom once every 7 minutes. For someone else, it could be kidney issues that are appearing, or you can't have children, or you're having numbness down the legs, or numbness in your big toe, or sciatica pain. So whatever the symptom is, symptoms or what, there are fire alarms going off. They are wild goose chases. They never tell you where the root cause of the problem is. He found the root cause of the problem. He saw that subluxation. So here it is. It's my choice now, right? And I'm looking at it, it's like, listen, are you committed to doing what it takes to correct this? Because you can't straddle the fence. I'm like, I'd like to take care of it, but let me tell you my situation. I don't have the resources. I'm in college, barely making the classes, living off student loans. My wife's a personal trainer. We have over $200,000 of medical debt. My mom's living off my dad's Social Security. She can't help. So I didn't have the resources. When it comes to making a choice to your most important asset, the thing that you always want most in life and want to keep strong and healthy in your life, it's not about resources. It's about becoming resourceful. Because my wife says, well, listen, you have to get well. You have no choice. You don't want to do this surgery. If you just get a little bit better and get off some medications, you're saving $360 on that one, $75 a pill on that one. So at least we're making something by just getting well again. She's like, we'll never pay off that $200,000 debt unless you get your health back again. And so it was the resourcefulness. We were able to gather some credit cards and some family members helped us out. And you know, I saw my picture, saw what's going on. So now I want to know how my wife's looking because I want her around. I want to know how my mom's around. And we gathered the resources and I started taking care of the problem. But right before I did, I looked at him. I'm like, how'd it get there? And he goes to me, he goes, what do you mean how it got there? He's like, if you were dying of thirst in the desert, would you ask me, how'd you get thirsty? And I'm like, no. He goes, what's the best question you'd ask me? I'm like, well, how do I fix it? And so 1 month goes by, 2 months go by, 3 months go by. We're going on, and you know what? I'm still bleeding, but I'm gaining a little bit of weight. I'm coming off one medication, 5 months still bleeding, 6 months still bleeding. So now I'm off all the medications, gaining some weight, but still bleeding. And at 7 months is when the blood stopped. And I remember that day when there was no more blood in the toilet bowl anymore. And there was a mixture of emotions because I realized that my body had just did something on its own that the best or the top in the world, all the awards, the $1 billion facilities, the $200,000 of testing, when doctors told me my body couldn't do. And my body had just did something that not only that I was told was impossible, but I'm thinking that I was so close. I was at this point a week away. You know, there was a point in time where I was a week away of making a choice of going to the route, getting my colon removed, being on drugs the rest of my life, being sterile, maybe being dead and not even being here. And how many people, how many millions of people, they put the responsibility of their greatest asset, which is their health, they put it into someone else's hands. And they take this drug or they do that surgery because somebody else told them to. But the thing is, you can't get mad at that other person. You can't get mad at a doctor. You can't get mad for doing something that you do. You choose to do it. And how many millions of people went for that surgery, took those drugs, and they will never be able to experience the true authentic life they were always created to have. And now 13 years later, when I tell this and tell my story, I'm even more righteously angry or compassionate because I realize that now 13 years later, I have a snapshot of what I would have missed out on. What I was 1 week away, 1 to 2 weeks away of making a choice that I would have lost. Because you know what I would have lost? Today, I'm healthy and I'm whole. I would have lost my health. Today, you know, I get to take care of my wife, which means the world to me. I have 2 beautiful children, Justice and Titus, that never would have been here. So these are, if you have children, you know that irrational, unconditional love you have for a child, it would have been erased from history. I could be a grandfather someday because of my children. And then through the journey I went through, I found my profession. I said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. It changed my life, and I want to be able to lead people to these principles and laws of healthy living to get well. And so I became a chiropractor, the greatest calling that I could ever have in my life. And because of that, I've had one of the largest clinics in the history of the profession. We see thousands of people each week in our office. They're getting well. You know, I speak all over the world on different stages, educating and teaching doctors on how they could take this principle back to their community and change their community. And then doctors from all over the world come to my office to sit there to say, well, how can we do this in our town? And so because one man took the time to tell me, my anatomy teacher, who was a patient of a doctor, hundreds of thousands of years have been added to hundreds of thousands of lives, and possibly yours, because he took the time to tell me the truth. So he knew something that would help me, and he told me the information. And then he brought me to Dr. Roger, who told me the information. But all that information, it would have just been good information. Like this, what we're doing right now, this talk we're doing right now, this conversation, it's just good information. But what did I have to do with that information to transform my life? I had to put action behind it, right? There had to be action behind the information. Transformation happened when there was action behind it. So let's recap those 4 questions, right? The number 1 question was this: what is your greatest asset? It's your what? Again, it's your health. The number 2 question, well, what is health? Health is what? 100% function of your body. Number 3 question, well, what controls all function of our body? Our brain and our nervous system, right? Our nervous system. So if our brain and nervous system control all function of the body, how many people need to be taken care of, correcting, maintaining, and totally really focusing on your spine and nervous system to have optimal health? How many people? Everybody, right? But here's the fourth question, and write this down. When do you want to do something about it? Right now. If I told you this message 10 years ago, you would say, right now. You know, in the last 8.5 years I've been in practice, and over 10,000 patients I've seen, I realize a lot of things. When someone takes responsibility of their greatest asset, which is their health, they want to live a more fulfilled and better life. They want to accomplish more things. They're more creative. They really love life. I realize that when someone chooses to take care of their health, their greatest asset, then you inspire others around you to start doing the same. And when you and those around you start taking care of their greatest asset, you get to enjoy life together and build memories and amazing, amazing times together. Imagine this. Let's say you were leaking money out of your bank account right now, or you're overpaying a bill. When would you want to find that out? Now, right? Or when would you want to fix it? Now. But even more important, let's say there's a disease process in your body. Let's say there's a disease process that's causing you to have the issues you're having right now, or the ones you're being medicated right now, or the ones that are causing your life to suffer right now. Or maybe there's a disease process in your body that you don't even feel yet. When would you want to find that out? Now. When would you want to fix it? Now, or yesterday, right? I find that there's 3 types of people, and you need to determine which one you fall, which one are you? The first type of person is what we call the victim. Their health is so bad, and I think there's someone like this in our lives. You know that person where their health is so far gone. Their body's in so much trouble. There's this Grand Canyon of a gap of where they are now to even the slightest bit of health, and they literally given up. They lost hope. They personified the diagnosis. They use the word, well, it's my diabetes, well, it's my heart disease, it's my cancer. They literally put on the cloak of what that diagnosis is, and they are a victim. And you know how that ends, and it's tragic. The second type of person is the person that believes that health is their greatest asset, but they subscribe to it's how I look or how I feel. And so what starts to happen is they look good, they feel good, or they know they can do something about it, but I'm doing fine now, I eat right or exercise, but they don't realize disease is in their body building. And what starts to happen, a health crisis hits them like hitting a brick wall, going 100 miles an hour, and their health ends in a very bad way. That was me. If someone set me down, or if someone said, listen, I want you to hear this information that we're going through, if they told me that 14 years ago, I would have told that person, I don't need to hear this information. I won Mr. America. I look good, I feel good, I train people, I give nutrition plans to people, I don't drink, I don't smoke. Pridefully, I would have denied the opportunity to hear this most important life-saving message. But you know what? In reality, I was the person who needed to hear the message the most. And the third type of person, it's the person that believes they're worthy of living the best possible chance. They know deep down in their heart that, you know what, you've been placed on this planet for a relatively short time, and you want to make the most out of it. You have dreams, you have goals, you have desires, you have things you want to accomplish in your life, and you know what, you want to give this life the best chance you have. Live a life of vitality and be able to serve others. Which one are you? So here's the gift. The gift is not the information. The gift is the gift that you only can give yourself. If you've never gotten your spine or nervous system checked, or it's been at least 3 months, I'm asking you to do it for yourself, for your health, not for me. I made that choice. It's for you. And so what the doctors would like to do, we would like to allow you to come into the office and to get it checked out. And you actually get 2 appointments. And so the first one is you come in and we gather the information. All right, you've probably been used to that. We want to see what's going on. We want to know maybe your 10, 20, 30-year goals, because we know that your health is the only way that you're going to get the goals and desires of your heart. Then the second thing you actually get another appointment. And this one's even more important, and this is the reason why people's lives are being changed. Because when it comes to your health again, who is 100% responsible for your health? You are, okay? So who needs to be the doctor? You do. Have you ever, you know someone who, you ever get in a blood test or an MRI and you got the results back and it was spoken to you in old world Latin and you didn't understand what it was about? I call that a problem. And you know what that problem is? It's called doctor-patient relationship, meaning that there's this doctor telling you do this, do that. You don't even understand what the test results are, and you're the patient. You're the of lesser power, right? That's just a doctor-patient. We believe if it's your health, if it's your body, then you need to be the doctor. So we like to call it doctor-doctor relationship. So the second part, what's called your doctor's report or your doctor's orientation, where we bring you back in along with your spouse or significant other or your family members if your children are over 6 years of age, and we sit you down and we actually educate you. We teach you how to read your exam findings so you understand what I'm looking at, the way we're doing it, or any of the doctors are looking at, and then you could go back and then you could see your problem, and guess who reads the exam findings? You do. You're in control of this. So you could see your problem, see the problems you knew about, see the problems you didn't know about, but then you'll know how to correct your problem without drugs, without surgery, get well, and change your own life. So you get well because you did it, you made the right choice, and the power goes back to you to take care of your greatest asset of your life. Because right, if my health's my greatest asset, if it's your greatest asset, you're in control of that. You don't want to give that up to anybody else. And the reason why we have the spouse or significant other, we have them and it's a requirement that they come as well to review those findings, is because of this. If you had cancer, do you think your spouse would want to know? Absolutely. Well, if you have a subluxation in the nerve root or information, intelligence from the brain is being blocked off to your heart, to your kidneys, to your pancreas, to your colon, to your thyroid, or to your lower back, do you think your spouse would want to know? Absolutely. Does it affect them? Absolutely. And so that's why that is a requirement. All right, so remember that fourth question. When do you want to do something about it? Right now. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to pick up this form right here. You'll see your form, remember where you did your stress survey? I want you to flip it around. So everybody flip it around for me. And then I'll walk it through you. So what you're gonna do is right here, you'll see your name, and you put your name right there. And then you're gonna put your age right there. Ladies, don't lie about it. You know, put your real age there. Your marital status, your email address. The doctors will not use that to solicit. That's how they confirm with you. The best phone number to reach you at, that'll be like your bat phone, the one that you always have, and the number of children. Why children? For all of us, how many of you think, we got these issues when we were younger? This is when it starts. And even more important than that, even though health is my greatest asset, you know what? The health of my children are even more important than my own health. I will do everything. Their health is number one asset of my life, and I know it is for your family as well. And so what you'll do is this. You'll see there, it'll say Wednesday or Thursday. We have some dates there for you, or Monday or Tuesday, whatever those dates are there for you. And I want you to circle the day, and I want you to circle the time. So right here, I would circle Tuesday at 4:15, whatever that is on your sheet. You circle the day, you circle the time. If you need to circle other days and times, because let's say you could come in the morning, then you could bring your kids in the late afternoon, that'll still all be included for that. And then what you'll do is on the bottom, you'll put your appointment is on this day or at this time. And so the staff will come around and they'll take the top portion, and you'll keep the bottom portion, and they'll ask any other questions, or they'll answer any other questions or information you may have at that point. And now normally coming into the office, the exam price would be in hundreds and hundreds of dollars. But because if you make your appointment today and you pay for your appointment today, you'll get the exam, you'll get the complete doctor's report where you become the doctor right there and you can see everything that's going on, and you'll get that all for a very reduced price today because you're here at that dinner, as long as you make that appointment today. And then we'll let you know what that is when they come around. The staff will let you know as well. So how many of you have learned something amazing and life transforming with our conversation? And so when you hear something life transforming like I have heard in my life, and you just heard right now, who are you thinking about? You're thinking about a friend, a family member, a coworker, someone in your social group, someone close to you, dear to you, even an enemy. Maybe they're your enemy because they're not functioning correctly, they're not thinking straight. So now's the time that we could pay it forward. Write down on a list of sheet of paper, if you have some type of paper or a lifeline or something like that, put down your entire phone Rolodex. Put it all on there. Your friends, your family, everybody you know. If they live out of country, we'll go find someone out of country for them. If they live out of state, we'll find a doctor in their area to be able to help them. And if they live locally, the doctors, they'll invite them out to a dinner where they can educate them on this principle. And you'll be a hero for it. The reason why you're here is because you have people in your life that they don't know what they're going through, and you'll be able to shine light on it and be able to change the future and the biography of their life. And you don't even know what people are really going through. No one's going to tell you they're suffering with depression. No one's going to tell you, like in my case, I'm bleeding every single time I go to the bathroom. So never mistaken how far-reaching something you say, you think, or do today will affect the lives of millions of people tomorrow. And it's all because you had the intention to change someone else's life, near you or even far away. And also, if you would like, the doctors, if you put down your contact information, they'll go to your home for 5 people or more. They'll go to your work. They'll go to your church. They'll go to your social organizations. They'll even do a fundraiser. A fundraiser, if you're trying to raise money for something ethical and legal, we'll have a dinner, you invite people, you'll keep all the proceeds. And just let them know your contact information and let them know at the front desk or the staff there, and we'll be able to help you on that. So in closing, your body has the most amazing potential in heal and be well. And hopefully you can see that by now. And if you take care of your health and your body and your nervous system the way it was created to function, heal, and operate, you too will be able to heal and live the abundant life you were created to have from this point forward. Thank you.